Hi, I'm Jayne from Match Made in Wales, which is the first matchmaking and dating agency exclusively for singles living in Wales. I'm here with Ceza Ouzounian. Ceza is one of the amazing coaches at Match Made in Wales, where she offers online Pilates classes to clients. She's also a relationship coach and runs the website Warrior in Training. Ceza, thank you for being here with us today.
Hello, thank you for having me here today.
So, first of all, can you tell us what inspired you to become a Pilates instructor?
So I started my Pilates. I started attending Pilates about 11 years ago in 2012, and I initially started going because just to feel good for myself, and because I really enjoyed going to a class and feeling all my muscles working hard, and just feeling stronger and more flexible. And well, as time went by, I at the time actually I was training to be an actress, and I was temping in the NHS, and I hated the job. And my Pilates instructor at the time, who owned the studio, said, "Why don't you train as a Pilates instructor and help me teach?" And so that's what I did. And it was kind of just going with my instincts of, yeah, I like fitness, I like helping people, so why not? But I'm so happy that I followed that instinct to do it because I love I love Pilates of how it makes you feel in your body, and you can feel how it feels, and you feel good, and you feel stronger, and you feel more flexible, and you can really see the difference it's doing. Um, but I also love seeing the mostly women, but also the men who come to my class and getting stronger and getting more flexible and doing things that they didn't think they could do, and just how much it's improving their body and how much it's helping them, and just allows them to get on with their life without those aches and pains. And yeah, I love Pilates, and I want everyone to do it. So that was kind of my inspiration to do it and keep doing it.
Can you talk to us about some of the benefits of Pilates?
Yeah. So Pilates, everything starts in the core, and then moves up from there. So when we talk about the core, we're talking about the transverse abdominals that run around the body like a corset. It includes the pelvic floor muscles, and it includes the diaphragm. So it's stabilizing that core, the part of your body that if you've ever hurt your back, you'll know that it affects everything. You can't even put your socks on, you can't do anything. So when you have a strong core, it helps prevent having a sore back. It means that your pelvic floor is strong, especially if you're a woman and you've had children or you're planning to have children. It's really important to have strong pelvic floor muscles. Um, we're breathing, we're conscious of our breath. So it's because we're breathing nice deep breaths, it helps relax you, and you feel less stress after a class. You feel more relaxed, and if you're stressed, you're breathing shallow. So this really helps you just kind of breathe properly and get all the stale air out of your lungs. And then we're also working the whole body. So you're working all the big muscle groups, but also the little muscle groups that you know those little muscles are supporting the big muscles. So everything is working. We're thinking about how our body is functioning, how we're like your posture. Are you hunching forwards? Are you tilted to one side? Is one hip higher than the other? There's about bringing balance to the body. And then it makes you stronger and more flexible and more mobile. So um, and because you're doing exercise and you're really focusing on yourself, you're not thinking about your to-do list or what you need to do when you go home or you work or anything. So you're just focusing on your body, on your breath, your how you're moving, and then it boosts all the good hormones, so you leave feeling good.
Yeah, we're often not aware of our posture, are we? Because when you mentioned it then, I thought, oh, I need to straighten up. We forget about it in day-to-day life. So yeah, it's so important.
Yeah.
Um, well, can Pilates be modified for individuals with physical limitations or injuries?
Yeah. Obviously, it depends what the limitations are, but usually I can adapt exercises for a person. So, like, if they're a beginner, if they've got injuries, or even if they've just got aches or pains or like limitations, everything can be adjusted or if I can't modify a particular exercise, I just give them something different. So there's always something else you can do or tweak it in some way. Yeah, because we want to include everyone in the classes, or even one-to-one. Like everyone can do something, and it's about figuring out and working with their body so that no matter what stage you're at, what's going on in your body, what's going on in your life, you can adapt it. And yeah, I have people with all sorts of things going on, so it can all be modified to uh, so that they can do the exercise.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I'd love to know more about your relationship coaching as well.
Mhm.
So, can you tell us what made you decide to become a love and energy coach, which is how I believe you refer to yourself?
Oh, let me go back to the start. This was actually in 2016. I discovered the energy alignment method, um, which is a technique I use when I'm doing my coaching sessions. And it came into my life at a time when I needed it for myself. Um, yeah, just quickly, I tried to have an engineering career before I went into Pilates and coaching and all of that, and it just didn't happen. I spent years looking for work, and it really made me. I didn't quite notice it, but it made me feel like depressed. It really chipped away my confidence and my self-esteem, and it was really affecting me, although I didn't quite know it at that time. So the energy alignment method came into my life at a time when I needed it to work on myself. Um, and again, it was an intuition thing. It was just like, I have to do this. Like, it's there. It just kind of popped up, and I knew it was the right thing to do. And I did the work, and I just loved the way it made me feel and how I got to the root of things and was able to kind of let them go. And at the time, I was dating a guy who wasn't the best guy. There was lots of toxic elements to our relationship. Yeah, I didn't feel myself in the relationship. I didn't feel I had his support or his love really, and it wasn't the relationship I wanted. And I used to do EAM, so the energy alignment method, EAM, a lot on our relationship and how I felt and how I really wanted to change the relationship. And I was just kind of desperate to change our relationship so that it could be better. And now that I look back, I was the one doing all the work and he wasn't really doing anything. So, that's not going to change. It, you can do all the inner work, but they've got to do it too. And when I came out of that relationship, it made me think of how did I end up there? And I realized it was actually to do with this, not just that, but the engineering failure was a big part of that had affected me. And when I worked on that and let it go, and I actually worked with another EAM coach, then I felt like myself, and it changed everything like internally of how I felt. And that's when I did the work of who do I want, what kind of man do I want, what kind of relationship do I want, and when I did that, and I did loads of work. It wasn't just that one piece, but 6 months later, I met the guy who's now my husband. So yeah, so then I knew like, and lots of women, like friends and people who were like in their mid-30s were going through breakups, or the relationship wasn't working, or they wanted to settle down but they weren't finding anyone. And I just realized, again, intuition was like, that's what you need to work on. And yeah, and I love it because I can help people really tune into who they are and be happy and attract the right person for them. So it's a long story, but that's how I got there.
That's brilliant. So, how do you work with individuals who want to attract a healthy and fulfilling relationship?
So basically, I do what I did myself. Ask them I ask them the questions to start being able to find out what's going on for them. So yes, we know what's happening in our external world, but from there, what I do is get beneath that. What is actually going on internally in you that's affecting your outer world? Because everything that's going on internally will affect the external world. So it's about getting into like the subconscious. Okay, what is beneath that? So if you are someone who's, for example, let me just think of an example of a client, like a client who kept attracting the wrong kind of person. She wanted to settle down and have like a serious relationship, but she kept attracting guys who just wanted casual things. And when we did the energy work, we found out there was a fear of rejection. So that fear was stopping her from attracting anyone who wanted a serious relationship, because then she could never really get hurt. But it was also fulfilling that fear of and that belief that you're going to get rejected. And once we cleared that, then she met someone who did want a serious relationship. So it's about finding out what's going on in the subconscious, what's going on in your energy, what are you putting out there to the world, what are you saying, like, energetically, to, if you're looking for a date but you have a belief that there's no one good out there, then you're only going to attract people who are no good, because it's kind of self-fulfilling. And yeah, so we want to change that, and that's what I do basically. get beneath the surface, what's actually going on. Yeah.
Oh, well, what are some common issues that you see in relationships and how do you address them?
Ooh. So there's things like, I see people who, there's lots of things that come up. People who settle for someone that isn't right for them, and they know deep down this isn't right, but they're either too scared to leave because they don't know what else is out there, because they know the situation, it's easy and they've got comfortable. So that does come up, that fear of leaving, or fear of change, or fear of the unknown. Another big one is not being good enough. And this can come up in lots of different ways in relationships or in dating, of that deep down belief of I'm not good enough. And this can come up like, I don't deserve that person that I desire, like, that ideal dream partner, because I'm not good enough. Or I had a client who wasn't, she said she wasn't ready to date, but deep down it was because she didn't think she was good enough, because she wasn't thin enough. Weight, and a weight is one that comes up a lot with women as well, body shape, body image. Yeah. Was the question common issues in a relationship or just in, yeah, sorry. I was thinking dating. These can all come up when you're in a relationship as well. Yeah, because if you don't think you're good enough, that's going to affect how you behave in a relationship. Yeah, and body shape again comes up a lot. Like, if you don't feel good in your body and you don't feel comfortable, you feel really self-conscious, that's going to affect how you are with your partner. And also another common thing that comes up is communication. How do I communicate with my partner? How can I say the things that I don't want to say, or have those uncomfortable conversations? Or something's happened and it's a tough and difficult situation. How do I have that conversation? Yeah, so it's about learning. It's about learning about yourself, how you communicate best, and people communicate differently. If you find it really difficult to have a chat with your partner, maybe write them a letter. It would be better to do face to face, but if that's what you have to do, then that's what you have to do. And it's about working with what you can do and not being scared to take the actions. And each time you take actions, it gets easier. So then you can sit down and have a conversation. Yeah. And I would always work with clients to find out what's going on beneath that. So, like, communicating, if you feel awkward and scared, well, let's look at that. What is going on beneath that? Because it might be like, when you were little, you were told not to give your opinions, for example, just as an example. So then now every time you have to give your thoughts and have conversations that are difficult, you feel awkward and don't want to do it. So it's about releasing that and then being able to tune into how you do want to feel. Yeah. Sorry, I went off on a bit of a tangent there.
I'd like to know more about how energy plays a role in relationships.
Yeah, so your energy is basically like what you're kind of putting out there, like your vibe. Sometimes you meet someone and you get a really good vibe from them, you don't know why, or you meet someone, you get a really bad vibe from them. again, you don't know why. And that's how I see energy. It's like, what are you putting out there? So if you, let's say you don't think you're good enough, it will affect your body language, but it will also affect what you're putting out there. So people might think, oh, actually, you're not good enough. They're picking up on that signal, that vibe, that energy. Um, and everything you're experiencing, even it's going to affect your partner. So, like, if you've had a bad day and you come home in a bad mood, like, even if you're trying to be like happy and smiley with your partner, they might still pick up on that bad mood, um, because your energy is putting it out there. So we're always affecting each other. And when you're with your partner, you're with them all the time, and it's very intimate, and you are going to affect each other massively. And also, like, your energy is affected by your triggers and your past experiences, and everything that's happened in your life. So if you've got all these, I don't know, lots of blocks and resistances, your partner's going to be able to pick up on it. And it's about, okay, how can I clear my energy so that I'm in the best place, best version of myself, so that when I come to that relationship, I'm not coming with all my triggers and blocks and resistances and baggage, if you like. And how can my partner come without all of that as well, so that when we're together, we can function better. We're not triggering each other. That does happen. One person gets triggered, the other gets triggered, and it's just this vicious cycle. So it's about how you feel about yourself, and when you know yourself, you can start to notice how you're interacting on a deeper level. So you can feel it's different than just like words or looks, or you can kind of sense it on a energetic level, if that makes sense.
Oh, well, thank you, Ceza, for talking to us. It was so interesting to find out more about Pilates and relationship coaching, and hear about your background as well. We're really excited to have you on board as a coach here at Match Made in Wales.
I'm really excited to be part of Match Made in Wales, and thank you for giving me this chance to tell you guys a little bit about myself.
Thank you, Ceza.